What up, people? What's good? Salute.
Yes, sir.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Salute to the tribe. We're hip hop and comics and hip hop. We're a niche channel. And reserved for the best is super dope. I do sell comics. Check me out on Instagram at @6th_element_comic. What's good, everybody? 6th Element of Hip Hop here. I'm your host, Reno Noir. This is your co-host, Stu Dog and Sada. Welcome, guys. How y'all doing?
Hello. Doing all right.
Jeez, what's going on?
That's what's up. Did y'all see the well, no, I guess no one did see it. So we're going to talk about the new Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 trailer, and we're going to break it down.
Oh, was it leaked?
I haven't seen it. I heard about it.
Well, I've pieced it together from YouTube videos and people that were at the Comic-Con filming it with like bad camera angles, and it's horrible, but it's a great breakdown, and we're gonna dice it up, slice it up, chop it up, and get into it. And then we got the Andor, Star Wars Andor trailer as well, which I just couldn't wait till Wednesday, Star Wars Day, but yeah, it's hot. I've been waiting on this one.
You're waiting on this one? It's looking dope.
Well, Rogue One is yeah. I mean, Rogue One is one of my favorite Star Wars movies, and this is direct spinoff. So I'm hoping it's gonna be cool. C-List E-Man, what's good? And also today is August 1st, which is Public Enemy's birthday, Chuck D's birthday, and Professor Griff's birthday, which I want to definitely pinpoint and talk about Professor Griff, because I just see so many people talking about Chuck D's birthday. Happy birthday, Chuck D. What about Professor Griff, yo? Professor Griff is a real revolutionary, man.
I'm Dr. Brian Harris, and I have an important question.
A lot of people talk about Public Enemy and the impact that it had, and scaring America, white America anyway, and it was awesome. And Professor Griff is still hardcore revolutionary. I mean, still to this day. So definitely want to give shots out to the homie, to the big homie right there.
Yeah. Oh, to Professor Griff or to Chuck D? I mean, look, Public Enemy had the ups and downs, and they left some rights, but
Sure.
when Professor Griff said it best. They are essentially a giant robot, and they can't form the giant robot without each other. Like Chuck don't work by himself, Flav don't work by himself, Griff don't work by himself. They've all had solo albums with minimum success.
Yeah,
they've all done their solo thing with minimum success. They've all been mad and came at each other sideways. But Professor Griff he's the only one that ever really admitted it. And he's also the most outspoken one out of them. And he said it. He said you can't have Chuck without Flav and Flav without Chuck. Public Enemy don't work without the Bomb Squad, Hank Shockley. It just don't work. And he's right. It don't. So like, I agree, because when Chuck dropped that was the autobiography of Mr. Chuck. It was all right, but it wasn't. It wasn't nothing right.
It didn't have no impact. It wouldn't have no impact like a PE record. Yeah.
When he dropped that next PE record after that, that he got game, that was dope, and it was a soundtrack. That was hardcore, man. So, shout out to Griff and Chuck, man.
Yeah, shout out to.
I've been doing it a long time, man. And keeping it real, and keeping it a buck.
Definitely. I mean, Professor Griff, also known as Richard Griff, but Professor Griff's his stage name, and so he was born in August 1st, 1960. So he's like 62 years old right now, a straight OG, a real pioneer. And during his time with Public Enemy, he was adherent of the ideas espoused by Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan, which informed both Griff's and Public Enemy's ideological views. As basically, where they were coming from. And Griff actually served in the army, cultivating an interest in martial arts. He trained the S1W security team that toured with Public Enemy that we all saw dressed in military uniforms, doing their choreographed military step drills on stage. And but before the release of It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back, Professor Griff, in his role as Minister of Information, gave interviews to UK magazines on behalf of Public Enemy, during which he made homophobic and anti-Semitic remarks. Because he, a lot of, and it's with a lot of black revolutionaries, they not with homosexuality. That's just not a part of, the culture. And
it's like Phil Robertson said, man. You can't claim any religion and then embrace homosexuality, because if you are a Christian, it doesn't say it's okay to be homosexual. It just doesn't. You know what I mean? It just says don't judge people for what they do. So it says,
So you got to play it.
Yeah, you gotta play it right. But when people ask those questions, it's like a setup, man, to see what they say, and then to get the back then to get listeners, and now to get views. But everybody's entitled to their opinion, man. So like when they did it to Phil Robertson told him straight up, like, I'm a Christian man. I can't condone that. If that's what they like and that's what you like, then that's what you do. But I don't condone that. I don't teach that, and I don't push for it. And he's entitled. And they tried to shoot him down for it, just like they shot Griff down for it. Farrakhan, everybody. Listen, we know that there's gay people in the world, and we respect them. You know what I mean? They're still human beings, but at the end of the day, if we don't embrace that lifestyle, we just don't. You can't force it on us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's not like
right.
And on this channel, on this show, we are not against gay people in any way, shape, or form. We are all about equality and diversity and civil rights, basically just human rights, people having human rights. So, but if we don't live that lifestyle, that has to be okay too. You see what I'm saying? Like, and so
it's got to be a middle ground. It's got to be a middle ground.
It's okay for me to be straight. It's okay for you to be gay. Then we're good. In 1988, this was 1988, in an issue of Melody Maker, he said, "There's no place for gays. When God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, it was for that sort of behavior. And if Palestinians took up arms, went into Israel and killed all the Jews, it'd be all right." That's fucked up. However, there was a little controversy until May 22nd, 1989, when Griff was interviewed by the Washington Times. At the time, Public Enemy enjoyed unprecedented mainstream attention with the single Fight the Power. Do the Right Thing, Spike Lee joint. It was huge. But during the interview with David Mills, Griffin made numerous statements such as Jews are responsible for the majority of the wickedness in the world. And when interviewed was published, a media firestorm emerged, all this shit, but that stuff is all Nation of Islam doctrine. And that's where he was coming from with it. In a series of press conferences, Griff was either fired, quit, or never left. Def Jam co-founder Rick Rubin had already left the label by then. Taking his place alongside Russell Simmons was Leor Cohen, the son of Israeli immigrants who had run Rush Artist Management since '85. Before the dust settled, Cohen claims to have arranged for a Holocaust museum to give the band a private tour. In an attempt to defuse the situation, Public Enemy frontman Chuck D first expressed an apology on Griff's behalf and fired Griff soon after. Griff later rejoined the group, provoking more protests, causing Chuck D to briefly disband the group. And when Public Enemy reformed due to increasing attention from the press and pressure from Def Jam hierarchy, Griff was no longer with the band. And Griff later publicly expressed remorse for his statements after meeting with the National Holocaust Awareness Student Organization in 1990. See, a lot of, and this is a good, that was a moment of growth, right? That was a moment of evolution, because Griff learned that when he, having that sort of hatred or that sort of anti-Semitic or that sort of, ideology was necessary for him to then have his eyes opened by someone who knew more about it. It's like, and I can equate that similarly to like what we've talked about Klan members and KKK skinheads and like white supremacist racists for the first time ever getting to actually really know a person of color, speak with, have a conversation with, get to know somebody that's not white. And then all of a sudden, all that white supremacy shit goes out the window because it's bullshit. And once you hear the truth and, and the reality, then you feel stupid. And I think that's what, I think that's similarly what Griff went through. And that's cool. I mean, that's evolution. That's building. That's growth. So that's why I say, like, I definitely, you know what I'm saying? I rock with Griff, dog, because I'm a revolutionary at heart, So big up to Professor Griff. Happy birthday, bro.
Yeah, you gotta rock out with Griff, man.
Yeah, he's got a website. He's got a website, profgriff.com. He's a spoken word artist, an author, lecturer, obviously MC. You can see his, some of his videos and stuff on there, and Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Grammy Award winner, all that stuff is up there. But yeah, check out his website, man. He's got a lot of cool content on there to check out. And then of course Chuck D, everybody knows Chuck D, you know what I'm saying? He was also born today, 1960. So he's 62. They were born the same day.
Wow.
I mean, like not even a different year, like the same day, same year, literally the same day. So that's crazy. Yeah.
That's rare. That's rare, man.
That's rare.
That's rare, man. To meet, even to meet somebody in your life that was born, y'all got the same exact birthday, same month, same day, same year. That's rare, man. That's real rare.
Yeah.
But, Public Enemy's always been pioneers. Hip hop. They always been the CNN in hip hop, the outspoken voice. But I give them credit because, like Chuck D put it, you're supposed to be that way. When they put out State of the Union, they put that song out. Listen, man, it just reminded me how powerful they are and how underrated Chuck D is as an MC. A lot of people, he's a very, very, very underrated MC. And it's only because he doesn't, Chuck don't spit, he don't spit about, how much gold he wear or what kind of car he drive. And, it's always conscious, man. It's always conscious rap, man. So it's always conscious rap. So it's
he's got a very powerful resonant voice, that's another thing that a lot of people don't check that box when they're thinking about rating MCs and the best MC.
Yeah, they think about they top 5, top 10. Don't say Chuck
voice is just as important as the lyrics and everything else. So you can't just have a fucked up voice. That's the reason why I'm not an Eminem fan. Like, beside his content not really being, not really getting all of it, but just his voice alone, I couldn't get with it. So you gotta have a voice. It's gotta be a certain voice. But Chuck D listed his 10 favorite rap albums. I thought this was cool. So his number 1 is Run DMC, Raising Hell. He said it was the first record that made me realize this was an album-oriented genre. His second favorite is Eric B. and Rakim, Follow the Leader. His number 3 is De La Soul, 3 Feet High and Rising. His number 4 is Dr. Dre, The Chronic. His 5 is Ice Cube, America's Most Wanted. 6 is Stetsasonic, In Full Gear. 7 is Big Daddy Kane, Looks Like a Job 4. 8 is Run DMC again, Tougher Than Leather. 9, Boogie Down, Criminal Minded. And 10, NWA, Straight Outta Compton. That's a solid 10.
That's a solid list. That's a solid 10. Minus that Big Daddy Kane. Minus that Big Daddy Kane. That's a solid 10, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Minus that Big Daddy Kane one, but
yeah,
I'm solid 10. I'll go with that.
You can't.
I would replace that with Kane's. I would replace that with Kane's second album.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that was for me. You know what I mean? I would put Kane in there. You're right about having, because when you look, man, you gotta look at it like this. When you think about albums, when you think about MCs, you gotta remember something, man. I was just talking to one of my nephews the other day, and we were listening to I think it was Benny the Butcher. He said he never heard of Benny the Butcher. Now, he's
Your
20
friend?
years old. Nah, my nephew. He's 20. And he said he never heard of Benny the Butcher. So I said, how you never heard of Benny the Butcher? He's like, I never heard of him. I don't even know who he is. So I said, wow. So I said, well, who did you hear? So he started naming, you know what I mean, like Little Dirt, you know what I mean, Little Baby. I
A
said,
lot of
son,
littles.
I said, look. Right. I said, look. I said, nephew, listen. I said, that means you're an OG now. You the old guy. You're not the young guy listening to music anymore. I said, because you got 5 years in the rap game. And in 5 years, you got to make your mark. You got to make your hit. And
Yeah.
after that 5 years, you got your fan base. So now, from when you're 6 year on up, you making music for your fans. So you're not gonna really accrue anymore too many new fans inside of that. And then you got to make room for the next group that's coming in or the next new artist. And I said, that's how hip hop is. It's about what's new, what's next. So I said, so
Yep.
if you haven't heard of these guys, Benny the Butcher, they've been out, but they've been mainstream for 5 years. For this last 5 years, they've been the mainstream rappers. And even they got to move over soon. So I was saying, if you had never heard of them, son, you behind in the times. You old man. It's like, oh, Unc, really? I said, yeah, man. I said, listen, I don't know how you, if you keeping up with the time, you would know. But if you're not, you're old man, son. I said, you ever see those old guys? They still listening to the. Not saying it's wrong to do, but they still listening to the Delphonics, the Temptations, and all that. And they won't listen to nothing new. They won't bust out Lloyd. They won't bust out Mary J. They won't bust out Beyonce. They won't bust no new R&B. They still
No
listen.
Mario.
I said, that's you, my man. You that old dude that's only listening to the stuff you grew up with, man. And so so you gotta realize you got 5 years in the rap game, get it popping. Because RZA said it best when he started Wu-Tang, it was about longevity, man. It wasn't about getting in, getting a quick dollar and getting out. He was like, we trying to eat off of this.
Yeah.
And you got what, they 20, 30 years later, they still eating off it.
Still eating.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
You gotta eat off it, man. But I would like to say, shout out to Pete Rock for doing that dope remix for Shut Him Down for Public Enemy, because that was a dope remix. That was a dope remix.
Yeah.
I liked that joint. That was my joint.
Hell yeah.
If we, he ever come on here, I want to ask him how y'all hook up for that. That's seriously, because that's like
he'll be on.
Because you know what, you would have never thought them two would get together, like Pete Rock, CL Smooth, and Public Enemy. Like, huh? Yeah, you would have never put that together, but it was dope. It was dope.
Hell yeah. Where are we at? Chuck D in my top. Hell yeah. So, all right. So, moving on to some Guardians of the Galaxy. We got Guardians of the Galaxy 3 coming, and we just saw the trailer for it at the Comic-Con. So if you missed it, if you weren't at the Comic-Con, you missed it. Oh, sorry. Before I go there, I do gotta say a big shout out to Nichelle Nichols, aka Uhura. She passed away at 89.
Lieutenant, that's Lieutenant Uhura. Give her
Lieutenant
respect,
Uhura.
please, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So shout out to Nichelle Nichols, man, because she was a big deal, bro. She was a big deal. Like that was revolutionary for TV. She did the first interracial kiss on screen. Like that was big. It's history.
And she was a major reoccurring character on Star Trek that was African American. You really didn't have a lot of reoccurring characters on shows back then that were the main cast member. They usually were supporting, or they played the background, or you knew they were there, but you didn't see them much. She was in every show. She was in every scene. She was in every show. She had a line every week. And I think that's powerful for Nichelle Nichols, man.
Absolutely.
89 years old. I don't understand how William Shatner's still doing it. He's what, 90 something?
Holy cow!
Is he really?
I watched that video. Yeah, bro, he like 93 or something.
Definitely in his 90s.
Bro, he was riding a horse the other day. I seen him riding a horse the other day. He jumped off the horse, ran up on some, jumped in the pool, swam half the distance, and got out and started twerking. I mean,
Yeah, he's 91.
wow.
91.
Start twerking.
Yeah,
Start
I don't know
twerking.
where. I don't know what
What?
Shatner is taking. I want some of it when I get in my 60s.
I'm telling you,
I want some of
I
that.
ain't even. I'm 43.
Bruh.
I ain't twerking out no pool. Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's
Nah, the
that's
Shell
that's
Nichols.
Allura right
Yeah,
there.
shout out to
Throwing up
Shell.
that. You see her
Yeah, that's
throwing
her.
up that stuff.
Yeah, that's Allura,
Hey,
man. Yeah,
live
she
long,
thought the Vulcan.
live long, and
Yeah,
prosper.
she thought the Vulcan live long and prosper. But she, you got to take your hat off to her, man. I think she had there was something. I watched Comic Book Man one day. There was something she was looking for. They found it for. I think it was a comic or a doll of her.
Like an
She said
old
she had
Star
one a
Trek
long.
doll.
Yeah, it was
Like
either a
a
comic
yeah.
with her in it. It was something crazy. If you look, I gotta look it up on comic. I know Wednesday. I have it for you by Wednesday. But she was looking for something, and it was something she had. It was a collector memorabilia, and they found it for her. And she came in there. And she was like,
That's
"Oh, I haven't
dope.
seen this in years." I don't remember if it was a comic or if it was like some,
Yeah,
like the tall dolls that they had for Star Trek at the time. I can't remember
yeah.
what it was, man, but I think it was a comic. It was something she was really looking for. But she said she hadn't seen
Right.
found, and in good condition too. Found in really good
That's
condition.
dope. That's dope.
Shoot. That's a
Yeah,
steal.
she said she was gonna quit. She said she was gonna quit Star Trek, but she said Dr. King
What?
talked her in the stand.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
she said she
Yeah,
was gonna quit.
Mm.
Said
yeah.
she literally was gonna quit. And Dr. King said you gotta stay because you represent, you represent the African American community and actors as well. Like, and women. He's like, if you quit, he was like, what are we gonna do? Who else we gonna have? There's nobody else black on the show that represents us. And so
Right.
then he said, plus, he said, I'm a big fan. I watch it. She said, he watched. She said, I was blown away by the fact that he said he was a fan and he watched it every week.
Shoot.
Right. That's crazy.
Yeah, she said that. She said
Crazy.
that blew her away. So she said he talked her in the stand, and she didn't know he was a Trekkie. And she stayed, and she got paid. And she said she's glad she did it. So she's glad she did it because you had all the motion pictures she was in, all the spinoffs and everything. So she did a good job, man. Take my hat off to her, man.
Hell yeah.
But
that's crazy.
only
That
the original cast. Yeah. That he talked her into it, or that he was a fan.
Oh, that he watched Star Trek. That's crazy that he watched.
Yeah, he said he watched it. She told.
Yeah.
He told her he watched it every week. He said I watch it every week. And he's like, and he said I look forward to seeing you on there. She was like, oh,
I mean, because he
died. She was like blown away.
Yeah, because he was alive. He died a year before it ended. Yeah, Star Trek came out in '66.
Yeah,
and to '69, he died in '68. So yeah, he was. Yeah, he.
68. Yeah.
He missed the finale.
He did his thing. Yeah, he
did
miss the finale.
He missed the finale, man. Nah. But
now there's only I think 2 original cast members left.
Really?
There's 2 or 3, I think. Yeah, because you got
Nimoy died,
Kirk's still alive,
Takai died,
which he would never die.
Yeah,
Kirk's alive. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and they all live pretty old. They all got pretty old. They all in their 80s and 90s.
Peace.
Kirk,
we got you.
Kirk's like what, 92 or something?
Yeah, that's crazy. So Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 got its first look at Marvel Studios' massive San Diego Comic-Con panel on Saturday. Filmmaker James Gunn appeared at Comic-Con to debut the official first trailer. The director confirmed again that Volume 3 is the definitive end of his Guardians story, adding, "This is the end of that story. I'm sorry, some stories have an end. It doesn't mean everybody dies." But in the trailer for Guardians Volume 3, Gamora no longer remembers her fellow Guardian crew members. The trailer also teases Rocket's origin and an all-gold super buff Adam Warlock played by MCU newcomer Will Poulter. Groot appears as a young adult, a little teen 20-something Groot. You've got the clip is set to the Flaming Lips, Do You Realize song. And then the panel also confirmed Borat 2 Oscar nominee Maria Baklava playing Cosmo the space dog. This is definitely an issue for some people. I really don't care. But then, okay, so Rocket's origin will be like a driving force of this movie. So it's gonna be a lot about Rocket's origin because, well, I'll get to that. All right, so Gunn told the Comic-Con crowd that he kept asking himself how a talking raccoon can be real, which led him to realize Rocket must be the saddest creature in the universe. That origin will be fleshed out in the film. Karen Gillan's Nebula will have a lighter personality. The actor teased, which is great because she was a little too serious. But she had a very cathartic experience having Thanos eliminated from her life. So she's finding her own personality, she said. And then Palm Clementif teased the following for Mantis. She said she's still quirky and weird, but at the same time, she shows a lot of confidence and she shows some fighting skill, maybe. And then, of course, the Adam Warlock guy said, I'm truly, truly grateful for playing Adam Warlock. It's pretty surreal to have ever stepped on the Guardians set. But so Guardians 3 is directed by James Gunn, who helmed the first movie. Reunites the entire team, plus some new faces. You got Chris Pratt as Star-Lord, Zoe Saldana as Gamora, Dave Bautista as Drax, Bradley Cooper as Rocket, and Vin Diesel as Groot, Karen Gillan as Nebula, Palm Clementif as Mantis, Sean Gunn as Kraglin, and Elizabeth Debicki as Aisha. The dog, though, you remember Cosmo?
Cosmo.
So, yes, and Cosmo, yeah, you see him there on the left in live action form, and then on the right in comic book form. Mm-hmm. But we did see him in the after credit scenes of the original Guardians, like in the collector's stuff, right? He was showing Cosmo. We didn't hear him talk though, and the reason we didn't hear him talk actually is because James Gunn was like, we got a talking raccoon, we got a talking tree, I don't want a talking dog too. So they just let him not speak, which I guess works out because Cosmo's a male in the comics and would have been a male voice in that show, in that scene, had they done it. But since they didn't, I guess that's free reign to make it a female. So now Cosmo is a female. Why are they now bringing in Warlock? Good question.
I guess because they hinted at him in the second movie at the end.
Yeah, at the end they did show that the cocoon thing, like from the comics. And but one of the big reasons that they're bringing him in, well, not reason they're bringing him in, but it all comes together because the big bad in this movie is going to be the High Evolutionary. And the High Evolutionary and Adam Warlock, you know, they have shit going on together. Like I said, we don't have the actual trailer because they only showed it at Comic-Con. It's not been leaked online or anything, but I pieced together some YouTube videos and some breakdowns and got us a good breakdown. So we'll split it up into a couple of 2-minute segments. I'll run the first one now and we'll discuss it from there. So here goes the first breakdown of the trailer.
So Chuck Woody Iwuji is playing a version of High Evolutionary. They confirmed it. We all believed it early on, so it wasn't a huge surprise. The actual surprise was during the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 panel when they went full Loki with him. He rolled in full costume and in full character, like addressing the entire crowd as if he was actual High Evolutionary.
Call me Sire.
Oh, okay.
I'm pleased to be here. As I gaze out at this crowd, I am reminded of my sole purpose in the universe: to take unevolved, disgusting, low-life scum such as yourselves and enhance you genetically to something less reprehensible and create the perfect species.
They did confirm that he's going to be the person who created Rocket because he appears in the trailer. They show you Rocket's origin story. I've done several videos about this before. They even had an Easter egg for him during Guardians of the Galaxy 2, sort of foreshadowing that they would be doing him during Guardians 3. But the trailer footage just confirmed a lot of our theories. High Evolutionary will be the main villain of the film. The other big reveal they made was that Maria Bakalova is going to be playing a version of Cosmo in Guardians 3, and her origin story also might be tied to Rocket's origin story, like she also might have been modified by the High Evolutionary as well, and that's why she might be able to talk. The trailer starts with the Guardians of the Galaxy after the events of Thor Love and Thunder, and they've set a new appointment to meet the new leader of the Ravagers organization. They're on their ship, the Benatar. It gets attacked and disabled, and they pull up on this giant other ship, which is like the Ravagers' main ship during the events of the movie. They open the airlock, all the Ravagers pull weapons on them, though they're getting ready to shoot them on sight, and Peter Quill has to try and calm them down, like, we're one of you, don't shoot us, we're also Ravagers as well. It doesn't help, and then Nebula steps forward and says, we're here to see Gamora, and it just blows Peter Quill's mind, like he had no idea that the new, younger version of Gamora from 2014 has become the new leader of the Ravagers since Avengers Endgame. So now as of present day, she's like badass space pirate Queen Gamora at the beginning of the movie. Then as you see Peter Quill's mind being blown, you see Gamora walk through the Ravagers on their side of the airlock, saying they're early. She does look like she has a few extra city miles on her, like she looks a little bit different than you last saw her during Avengers Endgame. Then the Flaming Lips song, Do You Realize, kicks in and plays across the rest of the entire trailer as the camera pushes in on Peter Quill's reaction to Gamora. The standard Marvel Studios logo comes up and plays, so the traditional Marvel Studios intro that you'd expect to see transitions to like the custom Guardians of the Galaxy 3 version, and it's like a white design fading into red with the letters in the backdrop against what looks like wood, and the logo itself has this kind of distressed, weathered look as if it's chipping off like paint.
So, after. So yeah, that's. What do you guys think about the High Evolutionary?
Sounds interesting. I know nothing about it, so this will be good.
Okay. Well, that's good because I'm about to break it down.
Mm.
The High Evolutionary was so 1928. Well, first, who is he? What does he do? And all that stuff. So
before we get started, I just want to ask one question. Why are we gender swapping Cosmo?
Oh, okay. So gender swapping Cosmo. That there's no great reason. It's just, why do they gender swap characters? I don't know why they do it. Maybe they feel they need more voices from males. I don't know. Maybe
And since Cosmo's voice actor, right? So, okay, wait, no, because never mind. The video said that Cosmo was a she, so
yeah,
she may have a more feminine voice, because voice acting, you can have a female voice actor and then they do their thing and
play a male
and differentiate them. So
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I feel like whatever. It might be just one of those characters where like you said earlier, it's free reign. So
yeah, and I really don't care because it's
I don't really care either.
It's not. Yeah, it's not like they're gender swapping Adam Warlock or something. It's just Cosmo. Like, relax.
Right. I mean, but yeah.
Let him have this one.
You get used to hearing that. You get used to hearing that Russian voice.
Yeah, I mean,
just get used to it.
I'm sure it's still going to be Russian because she is a Russian actress. So, Russian. Yeah, she's Russian. So he will have a Russian accent.
Nice.
I don't know if she's going to be playing him as a male because, like Sada just pointed out, voice acting, she could be playing him as a male. Doubtful, but I don't really care that much, guys. I mean, I would normally, I'm a purist, so normally I would not want that, but I could pick my battles. You know what I mean? Like, this is not one I'm going to go in on. Right. I don't care. It's Cosmo.
Well, the High Evolutionary. Since you asked, I think.
No, I was just gonna.
It depends on how he's. It depends on how he's portrayed. Because one, he's from Earth. Let's get that straight. Two, he's he's human. He's an evolved human. That's number one. Everybody needs to know that. Okay. Number two, he has what? He has superhuman intelligence. He's got telepathy, telekinesis, precognition. He can manipulate his size. That armor that he has on, it's like a living armor. He has regeneration. their
he evolved.
abilities,
He evolved his
superhuman
brain.
strength.
Yeah, he evolved his brain. His own.
Yes.
He evolved his brain to its full potential. You know how we use 10% of our brains.
Yeah.
He evolved his full potential, and he has virtually unlimited knowledge and intellectual ability. And
Whoa.
you know,
He's sort
got
of like Metron.
vast,
That's what he reminds me
yeah,
of. He reminds me of Metron.
yeah,
Like a mix
vast
between
psionic
Metron and
powers.
Darkseid.
Yeah, he can rearrange matter. I mean,
Wow.
he's okay. So he's range like okay. His abilities have fluctuated markedly due to his previously unstable evolutionary status, ranging
Yeah.
from that of a virtually godlike being of pure intellect and energy to that of a gorilla-like man of barely human intellect, unable to utilize the weaponry on his own armor. But he frequently uses machinery to control evolutionary effects, and his armor safeguards him from his own accord. But yes, Stu, you're right. He's got, telekinesis. He's got, all these powers, but he's also very accomplished as far as like riches. He owns a space-worthy citadel of science on Transia's mountain of Wundagore. He owns a research fortress in the Savage Lands. He owns an upstate New York castle. Research facilities beneath several major cities, space facilities ranging from asteroid bases to orbital ships to the world ship New Wundagore. So he's definitely got his loot
in check.
Yeah. But he's and 19, like they go back to 1928. He was a college student. Herbert Edgar Wyndham looks up to heretical biologist Dr. Nathaniel Essex, which we know is Mr. Sinister. So he's very much connected with the mutants as well. There's a lot of stuff with the X-Men and High Evolutionary. A lot.
Do you think they're gonna address that in this movie?
I think that this is a good stepping stone to putting all the stuff in place. You know what I mean? Like they've got the multiverse stuff, they've got the Kang stuff, the time travel stuff, and now they've got the High Evolutionary, and then they had the Eternals with the genetics, and so all of this stuff together, they're gonna have the stew of being able to. This is how the mutants are here. So there's a lot of components, and I think this is just another great component. In my opinion,
actually hint at him being connected with the mutants
in this movie. I don't know, man. I really don't. I don't know what Marvel, because the thing with the mutants, everybody's like, why haven't they made the X-Men yet? Why haven't they made it? Well, they got the rights back, but there's also a time period that they have to wait. They have to wait a certain time period as well because of the contracts and all of that stuff too. So they have their reasons for not having done it yet. But so maybe they can't mention it yet. Maybe they can. I don't know. You saw what they did with Ms. Marvel. They sort of kind of hinted at it, but not really, definitively. So maybe they'll do some stuff like that. I would love to see Mr. Sinister. Ooh. Like, if they're gonna do any,
that would be dope.
That would be kind of crazy.
It would be super dope. Because and he's got a lot to do with the High Evolutionary's like idol, right? Is Mr. Sinister. Well, Dr. Nathaniel Essex. And he conducts genetic experiments in his mother's suburban London basement, attempting with limited success to evolve rats in his genetic accelerator when he's a college student. And at that year's international conference in genetics in Geneva, Switzerland, he befriends fellow scientist Jonathan Drew, which is he's somebody. He's somebody. But then he comes across a stranger that is actually the Inhuman Fader, which is the father of Maelstrom, who hands him papers containing the blueprint for breaking the genetic code.
And Jonathan Drew was part of Hydra.
Yeah, but he's someone's dad. I think there's some superhero that Spider-Woman, Jessica Drew. Thank you, Jessica Drew. Yeah, Spider-Woman. So yeah, that's Spider-Woman's father, right? So so documents in hand, Wyndham returns to Oxford University, develops a serum capable of controlled genetic alteration, which he later names Isotope A. When 1930 rolls around, his professor frowns upon his single-minded focus and expels him from the Wyndham University. That same year, Wyndham returns to his mother's basement while his mother goes to live with her sister and finally succeeds evolving his Dalmatian, Dempsey, into humanoid form. But hunters shoot Dempsey, and halfway through 1930, via a partnership with Jonathan Drew, Wyndham moves to the eastern side of Transia's Wundagore Mountain to land Drew's wife, Miriam, had inherited from her uncle. Herbert finances a lab for them by selling his mother's home, but their discovery of uranium on the land in July of that year basically gives them unlimited finances. So that's why he's large and in charge, Slade, and that's why he's got all this loot, because they discover uranium, and basically finances are, infinite. So with their newfound wealth, they purchased large quantities of additional land from their neighbor Baron Rusoff in exchange for financing his rocketry. German rocket scientist Horace Grabshield, later Grayson, designs their citadel of science named Wundagore. Grabshield builds a spaceship into their base and subsequently, continues upgrading the citadel. But his taking pointers from the diabolical genetics obsessed Dr. Nathaniel Essex, Mr. Sinister, High Evolutionary is a pupil of Essex, only to be betrayed by him, because Essex betrays every fucking body. But High Evolutionary's creations don't always turn out the way he plans, because he's always making anthropomorphic creatures. So he's got a cockroach that he evolves, known as the Inheritor, who fails to follow the rules set forth by his Knights of Wundagore, to Man-Beast, who seeks revenge upon his creator. So he basically, a lot of his villains or a lot of his enemies are shit that he created. Yes. Yes.
Nice.
And yeah, so he's a very interesting character, and I mean very involved with every team, from the Avengers, the X-Men, the Champions, the New Warriors. He's even
how much of that are we going to get in the movie?
Yeah, I mean,
none.
Yeah,
are we going to get the Hollywood version?
None.
Are we Are we going to get the Hollywood version, or are we going to get the comic version? Or are we going to get a mixture of both? Like that's
we're going to get a mixture. I think they let James Gunn have a lot of creative control over this trilogy, more so than a lot of other directors. So I feel like we might get a little mix of both.
Yeah, you're right. I think so too. And I think I think it's gonna be less comic, more Hollywood. I mean, he wears a mask, and of course, this evolutionary guy doesn't have a mask. You saw him. He didn't have a mask. They make him a black guy. That's completely irrelevant as far as I'm concerned. That doesn't make any difference. That's fine. But yeah, I've never seen him without the mask, but I'm sure that there's probably some comics with him without the mask, but I always see him with a mask on. But I don't know, man. Hollywood and masks, they just don't like them.
No, they don't.
They don't.
And part of that is actors just want their face to be seen. Part of that's on the actor too, because some of them really want their faces to be seen.
Big time. Right. Big time.
It's like we don't care.
I blamed Hugh Jackman for years. I was like, bro, you're the one that wants to show your face. You're the one that don't want to wear the mask. It's not the director. Stop lying. But yeah, but yeah, so the High Evolutionary, really cool character. I had heard rumors about him, being part of the MCU. I didn't expect him now, though. I didn't know they were going to be doing this with the Guardians, so I'm pleasantly surprised. I'm not big into the High Evolutionary. Like I don't know a whole lot about him because hasn't really been in some of the more modern stuff that I've been reading, but like I know he's been a huge part of the 616 universe. The time as so during hold on, there's a lot of stuff here to unpack. I'm trying to get something that doesn't there's a lot
about the High Evolutionary or
yeah, about the High Evolution. I'm trying to find stuff that's going to be relevant to this because there's tons of information. I just want to find something relevant to what we're to this movie.
I would think, given his background in genetic engineering and manipulation, that
yeah,
he would be more like, he would be more the reason why Rocket was created. I think they're going to tie in his origin with Rocket.
definitely.
Oh yeah, he created Rocket.
Him and Cosmo,
and
probably.
Cosmo.
Maybe
Cosmo, yeah.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, he created. All right, so here's it will, and I think that's that's what a lot of this movie is going to be about. It's going to be about the origin of Rocket and the evolutionary and that kind of stuff. But here I'm going to run the second part of the 3 parts that I've put together about this trailer. So here goes the second part, and we'll chop that up. Here we go.
They show some new panning shots of the Guardians of the Galaxy, starting with Peter Quill. He starts talking to the new Gamora, saying that she was everything to him, and they show a flashback scene to the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, with them dancing on Ego the Living Planet. You see the new Gamora kind of reacting to him, telling her all these things. There's a separate scene of Peter Quill wearing a helmet, telling the new Gamora that he misses her, and she responds by saying, "That other Gamora wasn't me." Then you see a completely different scene of all the Guardians of the Galaxy getting ready to jump out the airlock wearing a bunch of spacesuits, and all the spacesuits are actually the colors of the Infinity Stones, with one exception. Like, there's no purple, but there's blue, yellow, orange, green, red. They jump out the hatch towards this giant structure, and this might be a version of MCU Half-World, because so much of the movie deals with High Evolutionary and Rocket's origin story, and Rocket comes from Half-World inside the MCU. They start transitioning to the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 custom lettering style, saying directed by James Gunn, and then there's a new scene of Nebula looking up at that structure, and then they flash the new Guardians of the Galaxy 3 logo that looks like this in front of her on the surface. So they make it look as if Nebula is looking at the new Guardians 3 title, and the title itself transitions to the custom language that you saw in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, like this custom alien language, but it still says Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. There's a new scene of Mantis walking through their ship, and then there's a Rocket Raccoon flashback scene to his origin story with a hand reaching out and touching a very small baby version of Rocket. This is probably the High Evolutionary's hand getting ready to modify him and enhance him with his cybernetic parts so that he can talk and walk around on 2 legs. Like, it's a very scared, tiny little baby version of Rocket sitting on all 4s. He looks like a regular raccoon would look. He doesn't have any of his cybernetic parts yet. They show you the back of the High Evolutionary's head with his special suit. His full suit looks like this, like they show you his face right after this, but this is what he looks like in broad daylight. Little bit different from the comic book version, like he doesn't have the faceplate like he does in the comics. They show you High Evolutionary's lab with all of his tools that look really wicked that he uses to upgrade Rocket and his other creations. There have been a lot of behind-the-scenes shots of other animalistic-looking characters that look more humanoid now that were also probably modified by the High Evolutionary.
Whoa.
Yeah, he's very Dr. Moreau, Island of Dr. Moreau kind of shit. But yeah, Norrin Rad. I know the High Evolutionary stuff that I was telling you was his background, just kind of letting you know who the character is from the comics. That's not any of the stuff we're gonna see in the movie, of course. Yeah, Half-World, bro. Half-World is the planet opposite side of the sun from Earth. So yeah, like you said, definitely going to talk about, Rocket's origin and I think that they're going to blend, Cosmo's origin or maybe the reason Cosmo can talk is something that, the High Evolutionary did before the Russians sent it to space or whatever. But
or maybe once he got up there, he kidnapped Sputnik. I said, I got a dog now.
Yeah.
That could be it.
Yeah,
that could be it.
So, but yeah, all right. So I think this last part's gonna be more about Adam Warlock. So, Sada, you still there?
I'm back. I went to the bathroom. Sorry.
Oh no, I just want to make sure you got to see the trailer. I'm gonna run the last part of it.
Oh yes.
Yes, he did evolve Adam Warlock. That's what I was saying. So Adam Warlock and the High Evolutionary. That's why they're bringing it together. But here's the last part here. Oh, you notice how the photos of the trailer are like from this weird angle down low.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they were probably made sure nobody was filming, and so they were probably holding it down here in one of these jobs, trying to get the screen. That's probably what the angle is. But I thought that was funny. Here we go.
Yeah, they probably had nose.
Sorry, what'd you say?
Oh no, I said they probably had nosebleed seat, nosebleed.
Yes,
they were looking like this.
Yes, good. All right, here's the last part of it. It's the shorter part of it. Here we go.
They show you a first look at Will Poulter as Adam Warlock. This is what he looks like. Notice how he's got his own special suit given to him by the Sovereign. He's also got a gem inside his forehead like the comics, but it's not the Soul Stone like the comics. James Gunn didn't reveal what was going on with this new gemstone, but it's probably just like what they did with White Vision. There's a couple quick shots of the new version of Gamora. There's another new character that doesn't look familiar, but he also looks like he's been upgraded by the High Evolutionary. You see what looks like a regular suburban street on Earth. It might be a flashback to Peter Quill's childhood because all the cars look like they're from the 80s. You see a new version of Peter Quill, Drax, and the other Guardians wearing the traditional Guardians costumes from the Annihilation Conquest comic book run. So this is them just going back to that comic book deep cut. There's a fight scene with Peter Quill wearing that new comic book accurate suit going back to back with Groot firing their weapons. It looks like Groot starts out being the same height as Peter Quill, but then in the middle of their fight grows bigger and bigger and bigger. So I think that's them just teasing that he will grow back to his full size in the movie. Vin Diesel called him Alpha Groot, like the most version of Groot, because then it zooms in on Groot's face and his face seems like it gets older, more mature, and bigger than it seemed during Thor: Love and Thunder. There's a couple other scenes of the Guardians of the Galaxy in their Infinity Stone colored suits flying towards that new half-world structure. They show you a new scene of the same type of creature from the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 with the tentacles, the rows of teeth getting ready to attack. There's a couple flashes to scenes with the other Guardians like Nebula, Mantis, all crying, going crazy. And then it ends with Peter Quill talking to the new version of Gamora about opening yourself up and the idea of family in general. Like he's slowly trying to win over this version of Gamora back to the family, so to speak.
So, yeah, Adam Warlock. What's his name? Will Poulter. So, yes, and also, yeah, I was excited, Nora and Rad, to see that the what do you call it? The Annihilation costumes. Well, just to see the comic accurate costume that you see the Guardians in that Annihilation, which could mean big or bad, which makes sense because High Evo is kind of gray line as far as bad guy. I think Annihilus would be epic. Yeah, Annihilus Wave would be fucking. I don't know if they would do that yet. That's a lot. But so yeah, you're right though. He is a gray area. He's not always just like a super villain bad guy. He's been on both sides of it, but and he's one of those that Marvel likes.
That seems to be the trend. Lately.
Yeah,
the
Marvel.
Anti-hero.
They love the anti-heroes. They really do. I think the MCU more than like Marvel does because it's just the anti-hero works better for movies than comics because it makes the audience find some relation. They can relate to the character and regardless of if they're bad or not, but it helps the audience care. We need the negative zone.
That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point because remember when they made Batman Forever? The reason why they did it the way they did it was because people were saying that the Tim Burton movies were too dark.
Right.
That Batman killed people. All kind of trash. That we know Batman. But they wanted a more light-hearted Batman, a Batman that was in the middle. Yeah, a Batman that could,
Yeah.
have that, have the dark side, have the dark side of the thoughts, but his actions weren't necessarily that. And
Right.
that's why, like you said, they love the anti-hero. He might
They
think
do.
bad thoughts, and he might, but they wanted to do the right thing when it all comes down to it.
Yeah. Yeah. But and Leto's way, good point. Negative Zone, but you're right. Fantastic Four is coming, and that would be a great place for that. Speaking of the Fantastic Four, Kevin Feige revealed it's kind of the story, I guess. San Diego Comic-Con. The Fantastic Four film, he said, would not be an origin story.
Yikes.
Thank you. I mean,
that's kind of a big yikes.
I heard that. I heard that, but I was glad. Yeah, I was glad when I heard it because how many origin stories did we get already?
Yeah, but they're not. They weren't good.
They weren't good.
They weren't good.
Right.
They weren't really truly comic accurate, and like it's been such a big gap between the Fantastic Four movies. I feel like and especially because it's connected to the MCU, I feel like we need an origin story. The whole movie doesn't have to be that, but I feel like we need to know how they've come at this point in the MCU. If it weren't connected to the MCU, they could play it like how they did in the animated TV show World's Greatest Heroes, where it was presented in 30 seconds in the title sequence. Done. That would be cool. But because you're bringing them into this larger universe, there's going to be so many questions. And I mean, hopefully they'll answer it, but I feel like the best way to do that is with a slight origin story. It doesn't have to be long. I'm okay with them being established, but we need that, I feel like.
Yeah, well, it's been a pretty accepted common wisdom that a superhero movie must be an origin story on some level for many years. So that's
but
big
after a while, it gets old. Like, how many times you gonna show us? How many times? Like, the only reason why I think Man of Steel was successful as an origin story was because of the way they did it.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It was a different version.
It was just right. It was the way they did it.
Like
they showed you more. It gave us something we never got, more Jor-El in action, and then they sent Kal-El off, and then so like Batman, Batman was great because they literally was like, all right, we already know the story, we're gonna just hit him up with year 1 or 2.
It's like
year 2. So I'm like, yo, I'm like year, right? I'm like,
and
year
it
2
works
Batman.
for those
like,
two.
Oh, that's great. Yeah,
it works for those because
we've seen so much of them. We have not seen as much with the Fantastic Four.
You're right. And that's right, Sada, because Spider-Man's origin, because they did the Tom Holland movies, they're like, okay, we did, Tobey Maguire did the origin story, Andrew Garfield got the origin story, we don't need another origin story. We know that Spider-Man gets bit by a fucking spider that's radioactive. We know that. We know that Batman's parents get killed in the fucking alley. We know that. Everyone knows that. So we don't. But Fantastic Four, not a lot of people know exactly how they got their powers or exactly what happened or why or any of that stuff. And it wasn't done well in the movie. And this led us to getting two different.
It'll take too long, It'd take too long, man.
No, because like Scott said,
they could do a Disney
quickly, do a short version of it, do a quick little.
That's what I was getting ready to say. What they could do? You know what they could do that's even better? Since Disney's into doing these limited series, just do a limited series. You show their origin, and then we just kick it in the movie. When we get to the movie, we just kick it. You know what I mean?
Never happened.
We already know the one.
That's not gonna happen.
Because
then we're gonna get to a point. It's gonna turn into a point where people are gonna feel like they have to watch the shows in order to understand the films. Because that was part of the issue with Multiverse of Madness. You had to have watched some of WandaVision to understand that plot. And if they do that, it might get to a point where they are gonna force their viewers to watch the shows, and we don't want it to get to that point. That's not gonna be good.
Yeah, definitely. But like I said, we got two different Spider-Man origin stories in 2002 and then 2012. Then we got a Batman origin story in 1989 and 2005. And of course, Fantastic Four, we did get an origin story in 2005 and 2015. But the obligatory origin story is being more and more dispensed with. So I think that it's an interesting. I'm not mad that they're not doing the Fantastic Four origin. Like, I'm not mad that they're not doing the origin, because I personally know the origin too. I know the origin,
right?
But I know that a lot of people don't. For those people, just go watch the old movies or something, man, because I don't need you to waste another 2 hours of my life watching another Fantastic Four origin. I don't need it. So
yeah, I don't think the whole thing has to be origin. I think it's kind of like what Lito's Way was saying. Like, it's just, how are you going to tie it into the MCU? If this weren't connected to the MCU, I would have no problem. But you got to explain them somehow, and I don't know how they're going to do it. I'm very interested in that, so we'll see.
Because Norman Bass said, I heard something about maybe they'd be in an Ant-Man stuck in microverse. Oh, like stuck in mini-verse. But yeah, the question is, how do you introduce them in MCU? Do you explain the absence, the origin, time of their absence? Right.
Ooh, questions.
And here's the whole thing with the mutants too. And Fantastic Four with the mutants is the question of how they're going to introduce them and explain where they've been this whole time. I don't think it's that big a deal. I think with Fantastic Four, like Sada said, you could almost do it in the damn intro. They could literally have them, while we're watching the credits, have their spaceship fly through the fucking nebula or whatever, and then just have that thing happen and just watch it go down during like Sada said, during how you see in a TV show, they'll show the origin during the credit sequence. It doesn't have to literally be that, but I don't want to see a whole movie about the origin, but I would like a little something though, like something just to bring them in and be like, this is why these people have powers and stuff. Because we do need kind of that because they haven't been in the MCU yet.
Yeah, but certainly not a 2-hour flick, please. Please no. Oh, please no.
And the last Fantastic Four movie wasn't that bad, but it wasn't that great either.
What the one with
Michael B. Jordan?
Michael B. Jordan? I never saw that movie. I never even watched it.
Oh, you're not missing much.
That's what I heard. I mean, that's what people were like, eh. So I just
you missed the best You missed the best Fantastic Four movie in the history of Fantastic Four.
That's not saying much though, and that's.
Nah, I think the older movies were better.
I was hooked on Jessica Alba, bro. I had a crush. Like, for real.
Yeah.
But the Josh Trank was the last one. Is Josh Trank. But both the Tim Story and Josh Trank versions of Fantastic Four focused on how the group gained their powers through a weird accident. Story's version went the traditional cosmic energy route, and then Josh Trank involved an exploding interdimensional portal. Both also made longtime Marvel villain Dr. Doom an inherent part of their origin, which makes a lot of sense due to the school of storytelling that demands heroes and villains be inextricably linked. But since we have already seen so much of the Fantastic Four getting caught in experiments and receiving their powers, it would actually be much more interesting to them in their typical Marvel comic roles as preeminent scientific explorers of the universe. Because I never, and that's another thing. They're not. I never saw the Fantastic Four as like superheroes. I saw them more as like scientific explorers who had powers, and then they would come into issues where they had to use those powers, but they weren't running around New York fighting crime. They weren't that kind of superhero. You know what I'm saying? So it would be cool to see them in that capacity finally. Cool if they introduced Bruce Franklin. Let's see.
That would be ballsy. I'll tell you right now, that would be ballsy.
I'm going to say what I always say. Hollywood just isn't that smart.
Yeah. So bring in the sun.
You can run away with it. Right? Yeah, because you can run away with it. It's a lot you could do, and you can run away, and you can turn it. It's another direction you can take it. You can do a whole lot, but they're
Well,
not
you
in
know
the
what?
business of doing a lot. They're in the business of pleasing the casual fan.
Yeah. And what's funny about what Norrin Rad's saying is that this happens in the comics. Franklin Richards, which in my opinion, he's the most powerful mutant ever. Like, he's a reality warper. Some people say that Franklin Richards is the reason why Marvel superheroes never age. Like, he literally broke the fourth wall or something, or like he keeps everyone young. It's a fan theory, but point is, he's god powerful. He can create universes in his hand. Like, he's very reality warping, like infinite, in some writing, in some story rather. But so Krakoa is, the mutants' safe haven. It's their sovereign island. We talked about this before. And in the comics, they come to the Fantastic Four and they're like, hey, Franklin Richards needs to come to Krakoa because he's a mutant, and mutants need to live on Krakoa. And, at least offer him that. And, his parents, Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Woman, were not, they were like, nah, fuck that. You're not taking my son. And it's a whole thing, but there's a whole mini series about it. But that would be a very interesting and cool way to bring the X-Men in. I really want to see the X-Men, the Krakoa, the new X-Men shit that's going on now in the comics. I would like to see that in the movies.
Oh,
I don't.
Would. I agree.
Yeah,
Everybody would. Everybody's waiting for that.
It's because we've done the other X-Men movies. We've done all that. So it would be cool to see the new shit. But
we did the Fox movies, huh?
We did the Fox. We did the 80s and 90s X-Men. We know about it.
We just need a fresh take.
A fresh take, right?
Oh, man.
And there's been a lot of speculation and fan casting on who could play the Fantastic Four.
Oh boy.
But we can be pretty sure that John Krasinski was a one and done with Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. That was not that sucked. And it was like a fan casting, and then it was like fan service. Like, okay, you guys wanted to cast John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. Well, okay, we don't agree, but we'll put him in this movie for you. And then, but
that sucks.
I
think he could have done well if he were given more, like 10 seconds.
It wasn't
dialogue.
It wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault.
I feel like he could have did something. Maybe. Maybe.
I don't know, because like him as an actor, he's not bad, and like he did another show that I really liked, where he played an action, like not an action hero, but like a CIA operative or something.
Yeah, wasn't that thing on Amazon or whatever? Amazon Prime show?
Yes.
Yeah,
and it was pretty good. But him as Mr. Fantastic was not like very well received, so they're not going to use him again. But
his part wasn't that long.
It really wasn't.
I think a lot of people got mad at what he did.
Yeah, they just mad at the writing because they made
it
long.
Right.
Yeah, and
people hated that. That. They set him up. Hollywood set him up.
Yeah, why?
They did. They set him up.
I don't know why they hate him as Mr. Fantastic. It's not the actor that did anything wrong. It's like you guys said, that him telling Wanda how to kill Black Bolt.
Yeah, some people can't differentiate between the writers and like the people playing the characters.
I don't get that.
They blend.
That's true.
For some people.
That's true.
Yeah, the Jack Reacher show. Yeah,
Jack Reacher.
I don't know how long that went on for.
Yeah, Jack Reacher. Yes.
It was one season or something, but now there's a new Jack Reacher show, with another actor playing Jack.
Yeah,
Reacher.
the guy from Titans. He played Hawk on Titans. And he was pretty good.
Yeah, he was. I met him at the GalaxyCon actually the other day too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But Yeah. So another crazy ass casting is, and I don't know how I feel about this because I love Doctor Doom and I want to see a really well done Doctor Doom in live action. And they're talking about Howard Stern might actually be playing Doctor Doom. And it's like legitimately. And
wait, no.
Howard Stern, I don't get it. I don't see it. I don't understand it.
Well, we didn't see Ben Affleck as Batman, who is supposed to be returning in his role as Batman as well.
Yeah, based on photos and everything like that. But Howard Stern, come on now. That even removing his hair, I just don't see it.
Like, can Howard Stern even act? Can he even act? Like, can he act?
He can.
That's the main question.
No, he can. Did you see his movie?
No. Yeah, but he's acting like he's being himself. Like he's being
but
himself.
But he's still acting. He's still very much acting.
He was that's different than getting your character and being Doctor Doom. Like,
no, absolutely. But I'm saying that he does know how to act. I mean, he did play that role. It was a comedy. He was playing himself tongue in cheek. He was playing like a caricature of himself. So he was definitely acting. But yeah, as far as playing Doctor Doom, I don't know. I gotta see it. I'm gonna have to see that before. That's exactly what I said. Lito's way. I said, LMAO, what?
That's got to be a no from me. I'll see it in my dreams. We don't need to see it on screen.
Yeah, we don't. We definitely don't need. I mean, no. Listen, the last couple movies they just messed Doctor Doom up because you know what? I think what they do is they're gonna do what they always do. In the comics, you rarely, if ever, never see Doctor Doom without his armor. So I think that's why they want because they're gonna mess it up. I don't know why they can't put him in the armor, leave him in the armor,
and just keep him there. Like,
yeah, they're gonna have doctors. There's gonna be something in this movie where Doctor Doom is gonna be in a 3-piece suit, and he's gonna be walking around, and he's gonna be making speeches, and he's not gonna look like that. That's not what he's gonna look like. He's
gonna be dressed, certainly not gonna look like that.
He's gonna be dressed business casual, and he'll have the mask on.
Yeah, he'll be in a suit with the mask.
Cool. Yeah, somebody in Hollywood thinks that still looks cool, and it doesn't.
We don't even need Doctor Doom in the Fantastic Four movie, honestly. They have such an extensive rogues gallery. They can wait to introduce him. I feel like we don't.
Can we get Mole Man?
Right, like how many movies has Doctor Strange been the bad guy? You know,
I don't care about him being the big bad in Fantastic Four. But I definitely
we already got we already got Skrulls. Why can't we just have a Fantastic Four fight a Super Skrull?
Yeah, like they come across so many people. Their rogues gallery is too extensive to just go to Doctor Doom. We can have them. No, I agree, but we don't need them right now. I don't believe we need them right now. I really don't.
And I think Doom getting his own show,
that would be cool.
It had something to do with Howard Stern. They were talking about that. But Lito's right. He's not a one and done fodder villain. So he's not a good villain for a one movie. He's more of a villain for like the MCU to have, like they're doing with Kang, like they did with Thanos and the High Evolutionary. He's more of that level. I mean, he's a Marvel universe level character. I mean, he's gone toe to toe with everybody.
Yeah, he was literally the villain in the video game Ultimate Alliance. He stole Odin's powers just so he could take over the world and kill everybody. So certainly. I wouldn't mind if he were like in the backdrop, setting things up, and then we see him maybe in a second film or something. I just feel like for the first film,
like they did with them,
someone else in the rogues gallery,
Yeah, I agree. Because, I mean, you go into the origin and you kind of have to have Doom because he's part of the origin. So if we're not doing the origin, we don't have to do Doom in the Fantastic Four, but definitely we need Doom. We need Doom. I agree. We need Doom, but not as a one-shot villain. I think Doom Easter egg.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Then his show. Right.
Like if they name drop, like if Reed just name drops him as being his college roommate, right, or some shit like that, and then because originally I believe the accident happened while they were in college, not how they presented it in the films where he was like with them and when the cosmic stuff happened, if I remember correctly. So they could do it like
they were all together. Oh, okay. I thought they were all together. They all got hit.
They were in a spaceship. The spaceship got hit with cosmic rays. And they all got powers from it. Yeah, they all got powers from it. And
but Doom was with him, right?
Doom was with him. Yeah, he was with him.
Victor was with him.
I think I'm thinking back to because I thought like his face was scarred in college, and then maybe the powers came later. I may be thinking of something else, but I could have sworn the accident where his face was scarred that happened while they were in college. But I could be wrong.
I know that they left all the magic stuff out in the movie, and I know because in the comics he's very much into magic, black magic, and all that stuff. He's not just a scientist. He's not just sci-fi. He's very much into magic. That's one of his main things.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, because he was trying to do something. He was trying to do something with his mother.
He's a master of the dark arts, really.
Yeah,
because he has
dark arts.
He's a genius level intellect. He has a mastery of because he mixes science and magic.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
right.
He could do mind.
Because I believe he was trying to contact
he could do like
and then things went wrong.
Yes, remember he could do mind. He could do mind transfer, hypnotism. What else have I seen him do?
Oh, you name it, bro. You've done it all.
Yeah. He got time travel, strength, durability, time travel, force field generation, high tech weapons and gadgets. I mean, and don't forget Doombots.
Can't forget the Doombots.
Can't forget Doombots. Yeah, so
yeah, he's been any and everywhere. Shoot. Oof. Okay, there we go. Yeah, he's been any and everywhere.
Oh wow, that's really cool. Okay, so yeah,
I never knew Dr. Doom was as powerful as he was. When I was a kid, I used to read the comics. I never thought he was as powerful as he was until I started really, like really getting into Fantastic Four, reading the comics. I was like, yo, Dr. Doom was like really no joke.
Oh yeah, I love the Fantastic Four. So I have a big fat guide on them over there. So I read it every once in a while just so I remember what's up.
Yeah, he's definitely been God level.
Yeah, for sure.
But Howard Stern, he may have accidentally leaked, the Doctor Doom MCU project. There's actually you know what? Let me show you guys this picture, okay? Because looking at this picture, I could see him maybe doing it. I just think of him, from back in the day, young Howard Stern, but old Howard Stern, he could play a Victor Von Doom. See here. All right, so here it's not him as Doom or anything, but it's just not the Howard Stern you think of. There, so he could be like a grizzly or like a
I still don't see it. I don't know.
Well, the thing with Doom is, like I said, he's wearing that mask all the time. So maybe they've listen.
The thing is if he can act.
Yeah, and it's so weird. It's such a bizarre casting that there must be some reason why they think he can do it or why they would cast him. I mean, there's got to be something to it. It's not just. I mean, they're past the times of like, let's just put a famous face in there. I mean, there's got to be a reason.
I mean, that's what it seems like right now.
Right, this shoe Howard Stern. Like what?
I know.
Yeah,
but he's not like famous now. He's not famous among young people. He's not like hot or anything.
But he's known. People know.
Known.
Yeah.
Everybody know who Howard Stern. Listen,
even if you don't know what he does, you know the name. You know the name.
Yes, everybody know who Howard Stern is, man. You ain't gotta be in the loop to know that. You might not listen to his show, but you know who he is.
Well, we do, but my son doesn't. Young people don't. Teens. Young people don't know who Howard Stern is. He's not done anything recently, so it's not like what I'm saying is, yeah, he's known, but it's not like they're grabbing like the hot guy, the hot star right now, and bringing him and putting him in the movie. It's like he's an old guy was hot 10 years ago.
I still think they're grabbing a star because it's like they're still catering to. They're catering the families. They're catering the older people who are probably going to.
They were grabbing a star. You couldn't get no one better than Howard Stern. Like get De Niro, get Pacino. I mean, you can get anyone. It's the MCU. You can get anyone you want. Stern.
I don't even know if they got Howard Stern. I pray they didn't.
Stallone could have played Doom.
Oh, that would be kind of crazy.
You could have got Schwarzenegger to play Doom.
But you got
that might have been better. But
although many upcoming cinematic universe projects are already been announced, fans are still eagerly trying to understand what's in store. But after all, Marvel Studios tends to keep their cards secret until the last minute. But this means, upcoming films like Fantastic Four are going to have plenty of surprises, up until their theatrical release. But it appears that none other than Howard Stern is involved in a project containing Dr. Doom, whether it's the movie Fantastic Four or whether it's
what? Maybe he
could be a cameo.
You know what? I think maybe he might be the voice of Dr. Doom, modified like they did Bane and Batman.
Well, here's what he said. He said they're going over the schedule with me and it's going to suck, he began. Well, I told you I'm going to do Dr. Doom, but believe me, I'm fucking miserable about it. I called Robert Downey Jr. and I was asking him acting techniques.
See, that's already a problem. Like, why are you killing Howard Stern? Like,
it doesn't make sense. That's what I'm saying.
There's no range. Like, where's his range? I just don't understand.
I've only seen him do comedy. That's all I've ever seen him do is comedy.
Yeah, that's.
I did like his movie though. I really liked that movie. Like for some reason, it was just comfortable. I don't know. The way he did was just funny, dude. It was kind of just. I didn't know shit about Howard Stern until I watched this movie. Right. That's all I really know. And then I started like check out some of his radio show.
That makes me nervous. You pull an actor who's really only known for comedy and you're going to put him as Dr. Doom. That makes me nervous for the direction of the character. Now, if that is true, then, we'll see.
It makes me nervous, but at the same time, it's so bizarre that maybe it's going to be good. You know what I mean? Like there's been I'm trying to think right now. There was a casting that was just like that. That was like, what? And then it was like, but it's good. What was that? Shit.
Batman. We thought Ben Affleck wasn't gonna be good, but he was. We was like, he was good.
I don't know if that one was seriously bizarre.
No, that one wasn't as weird. Oh, Pattinson. Robert Pattinson. I was like, Robert Pattinson?
But he has range. That's different, though. He has range. He's a really good actor.
I agree with that, Reno. I agree with that.
I agree too.
I agree with that.
I didn't know though. And I talked to a lot of people. They were like the Twilight guy, and I'm like, yeah, but he's done movies since Twilight. Have you seen any of them? And they're like, no, I didn't know he did anything since Twilight. I had seen his stuff since Twilight, so I knew he had the ability to do it.
Well, this is what happened with Twilight. You had all those teenage girls spending all their little hard-earned little chore money to go see Robert Pattinson, and that's what it was. And so that's what made him as famous as he is, and that's what made people think that he was just because he was a heartthrob actor, sort of like a soap opera, and that's just what it was. Yeah. And at the time when they were coming up with those movies, and he did 7. Listen, a lot of people don't do, but they did 4 or 5 of those vampire
Twilight
movies. A lot of Twilight, man. Listen, a lot of people don't get to do 4 or 5 movies. Period. Whether they got something to do with nothing, he did. He did like 4 or 5 of them joints in like a 10-year span. That's a career. That's a career for a lot of actors.
Yeah.
And he headlined those joints. Like he was the star actor. He brought a solid performance in every one. He did his thing. So it's like you gotta take your hat off to him for that. But he was a heartthrob actor, and that's just what it was. Those little girls, Sada.
No, not me. I was not into Twilight.
I need to go see Robert Pattinson.
Oh no!
I might be a vampire when I come home tonight.
Nah.
Could you imagine her telling Grant? Can you imagine her telling Grant that? Dad, I might be a vampire when I come home tonight.
I can't see Sada doing that.
No,
you can't see Sada.
him and Taylor Lautner were heartthrob actors. More so, I would say.
They were.
Taylor. But Taylor, his career did not catapult in the way that Patterson and Kristen Stewart did.
I don't know what happened to Lautner.
Yeah.
And then Patterson, giving him a shot at Batman is a way of pushing him away. Because a lot of actors, they'll tell you they don't want to play parts because they don't want to be stuck in that role. They don't want Hollywood to always remember them as like William Shatner. When you say William Shatner, even though he played in a lot of different stuff, you think Captain Kirk immediately. You think Captain Kirk. Oh, Captain Kirk. And a lot of actors don't want to get stuck in that.
Yeah.
They don't want to be stuck in one role.
Yeah.
So
Batman,
the Batman kind of pushed him out of it.
Yeah. That Leto's way, that's what I was just about to say. The statement that he made, he didn't say I'm playing Dr. Doom. He said I'm gonna do Dr. Doom. That could just mean I'm gonna do the show Dr. Doom. I'm gonna be in it. Not necessarily going to play Dr. Doom himself. He might just be playing a character that's in the project, in the Dr. Doom, a separate character. He's not saying I'm playing Dr. Doom. He just said I'm gonna do Dr. Doom. But that's like if I was gonna do, if I'm gonna be in a Spider-Man movie. Yeah, I'm gonna do Spider-Man. Doesn't mean I'm gonna play Peter Parker. So hopefully it's just people running with what he said, and because I really can't see it. But we've talked way too much about Howard Stern being Dr. Doom. It's not gonna happen.
He might be the voice of Dr. Doom. You never know.
That would be interesting.
Well, and that's right. I mean, if they just keep Dr. Doom with the mask on, then anybody can play him and just have Howard do the voice. But can you imagine Howard Stern's voice playing Dr. Doom? No,
yeah, you just gotta modify. They did it with Bane. Just gotta give a little modification. You can do it.
Just pick somebody that can do it. Just pick somebody that can do it without vocal modifications.
Vocal assistance. Yeah. Got it. Howard Stern might be the savior of the movie. He might. He might be
he might be the best villain we've ever seen. And monkeys might fly out of my butt. All right, let's see.
Think about. All right, Reno always says it, and I finally like dug deep into it because Reno would say it a lot when we talk about Batman. When we talk about Batman Forever, and Reno would always say, I didn't like Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face. And so when you go back and you look at that movie, I went back and watched the movie. I went back and watched 10 Things You Didn't Know About, Batman Forever, and was right. He really didn't play Two-Face. It was more like he was trying to copy Jack Nicholson and play a Joker version of Two-Face.
Absolutely. That was a diet Joker.
Right, because Two-Face Two-Face is a very complex character.
And he was trying to
he's very complex.
He was trying to compete with Jim Carrey's over the top. Portrayal.
Right. A lot of people said his portrayal of Two-Face was very silly. It wasn't serious enough.
Over the top.
And I think that's also on the director as well, because I'm sure he directed him to turn it up a notch. I'm sure of it.
Yeah. Or at least he did
because everybody was saying how he was everybody said like he was always laughing and dancing, and they were saying that he was basically imitating Jack Nicholson doing the Joker. Like Eddie Murphy said, when you see him do his serious face, he's imitating Bruce Lee. Like that's him imitating Bruce Lee. That's how he gets serious. And they were saying that they think that was Tommy Lee Jones saying, well, I'm playing Two-Face, but I'm imitating Jack Nicholson, and this is my version of Two-Face. My imitation of Jack Nicholson playing Joker is my version of Two-Face. Because all he did was laugh, and all he did, even the part where he fell through the building, and he's like, why don't you just die, and then he started shooting everything. That's not Two-Face. Well, that's not Two-Face at all. No, that's not Two-Face is very Two-Face is very calculating. He's very methodical. He's a villain that thinks about what he's going to do,
laid
plans it
back. He's
out.
gonna flip that coin, and
Right.
it's
It
either
is.
gonna
It is.
be
And he's
glass
real
or
cool.
what.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And he has his conflicting interest is himself. So like he doesn't do anything without flipping the coin. So even if he had a plan to kill Batman and he had Batman dead to rights in the trap, he would flip the coin before he said, "Well, Bats, I don't know what's going to save you." And he flip the coin, and then he'd say, "Up, tails, you got to die," or heads.
Yeah.
So they didn't do any of that with Two-Face. He ran around, he screamed, he was obsessed with killing the Bats, and he laughed, and it wasn't. Two-Face is laid back, and then one thing Two-Face has that they never even addressed in the movie is he has a personality conflict disorder. So he's always fighting with himself. That's why he needs the coin to make a decision. Because he's still Harvey Dent, but on the other side, he's the damaged, psychologically damaged Two-Face. You know what I mean? The evil half. So it is an evil and a good. And that's the thing. It always has to be two of everything with him.
Yeah, they did address it in the movie. They were just very, very on the nose with it. When you saw his lair and everything was split down the middle, he had two henchwomen. One was a devil, one was an angel. It was just very on the nose and silly, which is what they wanted the whole movie to be. So, that was a mess.
And that's another. People said it was silly. People said they thought Batman Forever was a little too lighthearted, but I think it was a high grossing film. The casual audience loved it. And they said that they liked it because in the Tim Burton movies, Batman killed everybody.
Well, also it was huge because it was coming off the success of Batman, the other Batman movies, and then plus you had Jim Carrey in it, and it was like Jim Carrey was at the top of his game at that time, and so like it was gonna blow up. I mean, it just had all the ingredients.
I thought it would have been better if we didn't have Robin Williams. Because Robin Williams was originally supposed to play Riddler.
See, I'm not a fan of Robin Williams.
I didn't see that. I think Jim Carrey was a good choice. I just think he was just too over the top, and I don't know if that was because of him or the director as well, directing him to be like that. Because I'm sure he was like, "Turn it up." So
because at that time, all the directors that had Jim Carrey on their set would always do that to him. He said it. He was like, they always would just push me to go wackier and crazier. And he wanted to be more dramatic. Jim wanted to do more dramatic roles and stuff. And that's why he started doing, stuff like, Sunshine of a Spotless Mind and all that stuff. But
and,
he could have done
the
it.
Truman Show. Because when he did Truman Show, that was a great movie. That was just him being more serious.
And let's see what else. Oh, yeah. So you guys saw the Black Panther trailer. So we know that, I don't know. I think the moment that caught everyone's attention was when we got our first glimpse at the new Black Panther. To me, it looked like a female, but there's speculation, about who it's going to be. But everyone's
we know there is
Lupita Nyong'o or Okoye.
There's controversy. There's controversy behind that. Controversy behind that now. Cancel culture wants Black Panther. They want to try to cancel Black Panther because they say that
boycott.
Yeah, they say when to boycott it. They don't want no. They're saying that we shouldn't be passing the mantle. Nobody else should play Black Panther, and it should be done.
Okay, I don't know about all that, but I feel like
they're really upset about it. They're really upset about it. Seriously.
I feel like it's too soon for Shuri to be Black Panther, but I put that on the MCU because you are abandoning an entire character. And that's not going to work out in the long run. That's a huge disservice to the character of T'Challa, who has barely been explored. It's not going to work out. It's not even working out in the short run, i.e. this, what's it called? Them wanting to boycott the film. It's like, I get people wanting to see it because they want to honor Chadwick. I I don't know if I'm going to see it because I feel like I don't know if I'm honoring Chadwick and what he brought to the character by paying to see a film where they kill off the character. And if the leaks are true, then it's going to be in the same manner that Chadwick died in real life. Like, that's just so triggering. Like, why even go that route?
You don't have to, no, because there's been a lot of other movies where the character, the actor that played the character died. They didn't,
Could you imagine if after Heath Ledger passed, they never casted a Joker ever again? Like, that's insane. We've had like 4 live action Jokers since he passed. Like, they would never do that.
What if Tobey Maguire died and now there's never going to be another Peter Parker because Tobey Maguire
like, I don't know why. I just.
Why Black Panther?
It's such a touchy situation.
Because Black Panther has a special place in everybody's home. That's why.
And that's fine.
And y'all need to just wake up and realize that.
It's the biggest
fine. But that doesn't mean abandon the entire character of T'Challa. That's not honoring Black Panther. That's not honoring him as a character. To kill him off? What are you serving with that? You're not serving anything with that. And and it just feels like they're using Chadwick's death as like a marketing strategy, and it feels really weird to me. Yeah. That's just to me, I just feel like they can recast. There's no excuse. Maybe not now. That's why I felt like they should have just pushed the film and then recast then. But it's a touchy situation, so nobody's gonna be happy, no matter which way you go.
No matter which way, because you got some people that feel really strong about them, recasting this role. Because at the end, they telling you, "Oh, somebody gonna be Black Panther," but we're just not gonna tell you who it is yet. And you got people out there. They're like, "Oh, so you want to be disrespectful? Now we got to boycott Black Panther," and that's just not right.
Well, and making Black Panther one of the female characters, that's not the same as recasting the character. It becomes a different character. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you make a male, female character, it's a different character.
Right.
And one person tweeted, a Black Panther film with no Black Panther. I agree with everyone else. Recasting should have happened. T'Challa has way too many stories to tell. Don't give me but there was a panther in the last shot for a second. And then, one social media user pointed out T'Challa is just as important as Steve Rogers, Tony Stark, and Thor. If you know the comics, you're aware of this. He's been a member of the Illuminati. Ending his story arc prematurely isn't just a bad idea. It's the biggest attack on an A-list superhero in MCU history. Captain America is the alter of Steve Rogers' character, along with Tony, Iron Man, Tony Stark, Thor. The trio is among the founding members of the Avengers group. Several fans agreed about T'Challa's importance to the MCU, but many disagree with boycotting Wakanda Forever. One person said, recast T'Challa, but I'm not going to boycott the movie. T'Challa is just as important as any other big Marvel main. His story is not done. We can bring him back respectfully. But they're not, dude. That's the thing. They're not. So you just contradicted yourself, sir.
Go ahead. I think you should have just said, I think they should have just did this. Make a Black Panther movie and give me what I want. He just don't never take off the mask. The whole movie. And now we got a Black Panther movie. And then the next movie, and you can digitize Chad Boseman's voice, and you can have that coming through. And then the next movie, you can recast, and you can show his face, like they always like to do. And now we good. So, I mean, that's one way you can hide it. You can just never show his face again. You can just always put him in the mask. Just keep it in a costume.
Their POV is that Chadwick is Black Panther and he passed, and so to honor him, we're not going to put anyone else in that role. But that's bullshit. That's not what he would have wanted.
Yeah, his family has been very adamant on wanting the character to live on. They've been very adamant on that.
Oh, yeah. And in April of 2021, Black Panther fans launched a petition to recast T'Challa. And then months later, MCU producer and vice president of development Nate Moore revealed T'Challa would not be recast in future Marvel films. He said, "We just couldn't do it. When Chad passed, it was a real conversation we had with Coogler about what do we do, and it was a fast conversation. It wasn't weeks, it was minutes of how we had to figure out how to move the franchise on without that character.
Minutes?
Yeah, I think they should have took more time.
That's not a good sign.
It's not. You should have took some more time and really thought about it, because and then
you know what it says that they already had they already had a plan in place. That it was nothing to really discuss.
He probably didn't even have that big a role.
Nah, and the discussion wasn't whether we're going to recast him. The discussion probably was, I know you got a plan. What is it? And lay it on me so it can get my approval or disapproval. And he laid the plan on him.
You think they knew he was going to die?
No. I mean, like, all right, you and Sada making y'all doing Black Panther. Now I'm the big bad that's got to approve everything. You guys, I come to you guys. I say, listen, what are we going to do about recasting? But you guys have been discussing it for weeks. You guys already have a plan.
Yeah.
To move forward. I just haven't been brought in the loop yet. When I get into the conversation, you bring me in the loop, and I say, you know what? We can go with that. That'll work. That's minutes. And then you guys go on, make the Black Panther Part 2, and then we see how the world likes it. That's how it went down. It went down just like that. Instead of them just recasting and moving forward. Because the big CEO was like, look, if we got to recast, I'm with it. Black Panther made a lot of money. So.
Yeah, I mean,
the fact that it was like minutes, that just tells me either like they didn't have a substantial like role that he was going to play in the future of the MCU, because why would that be minutes? Why would that be minutes for T'Challa? Like that just doesn't make any sense, So I don't know, but they should have taken some more time. But
it seems like it's something that should have been discussed thoroughly. Over weeks, very
yeah.
But the MCU is all set to continue expanding into phases 4 and 5 and 6, with at least 2 more Avengers movies and who knows how many Disney Plus shows. And while the first phases of the MCU mostly cast relatively low profile actors, Robert Downey Jr., Scarlett Johansson aside, the newer slate of movies is more and more casting recognizable superstars. I think it's a mistake, but according to our trusted and proven sources, Henry Cavill is the latest actor being wooed to join the MCU in serious talks now. So, while we do not yet have any confirmation of what role Henry Cavill is in talks for over at Marvel, we have solid speculation. The head of the first family, Reed Richards. So this may be our Mr. Fantastic.
Wait, Henry Cavill?
Yep.
I don't know. He's pretty buff.
He is.
Was Mr. Fantastic.
So is Reed Richards.
He's the Henry Cavill, really.
Reed Richards is buff.
I don't remember Reed being that buff. He got a little.
I mean, he's not.
He could be the Human Torch. Could be Johnny Storm.
Mm.
He could be the Thing as well.
After the way WB,
he might be the Thing.
He could be the Thing.
Come into the MCU, do whatever you want. WB completely wasted him, so whatever. Do whatever you want, Henry. I was
like, do what you want. Get out of here. Bye.
Do what you want. They had an opportunity to really use him as Superman, and they shafted him. So whatever.
Well, they never said that.
We'll take him over here.
Wait a minute, Sada. Wait a minute, Sada. Let's break it down. They never really shafted him. They just never. We just never got another Man of Steel. We never got him in another movie, solo Superman movie. Like that's everybody's big. That's everybody's big complaint is whatever happened to a second Superman movie. Like everybody wants another Superman movie, and Warner Brothers just won't give it to us. Not yet, anyway. I guess I don't know. I don't know what.
And Henry's by the phone waiting, and they said no. But he played a good villain in that Mission Impossible movie, that newest one. So he would be a good villain. I feel like he would be a good villain.
Yes, he would. I feel the same way. I feel he did.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't. He wouldn't. I mean, if you're going for this, Mr. Fantastic, this sort of more chiseled jaw, I mean, he could play that Mr. Fantastic.
I'm worried about from the neck down because Cavill is very buff from the neck down. So
is Mr. Fantastic,
or is he just more like Van Damme? He's not like Arnold. He's more like
he's a little
like Van Damme or something.
Like, because he got bulked for The Witcher. So
he did, but I can see. I mean, now.
Okay, maybe he's not super buff.
No, but he's not super buff. He's more like in between. He's built well, and he might have bulked up for Superman, but that's temporary. But he could tone down. He is humongous. He is a big dude, but he could like ease back on the the weight gain.
On steroids.
The weight gain
on the roids. No, Chris Hemsworth.
The growth hormone. He can ease back on the HGH a little bit.
Yeah. On the HGH, yeah. But yeah, I mean, there hasn't been any, casting announcements of who's going to play, the Fantastic Four. There's not even been, a confirmed director since Spider-Man No Way Home's John Watts departed the project.
That we know of. They probably already got it popping, Reno. We just don't know the names.
Confirmed or announced. It's not announced.
It hasn't been announced, but we know they got something in the works. We know it's already popping.
I can see him. I mean, for one reason that he'd be a good Reed Richards. He sort of radiates. Maybe it's because of his Superman role, but reliability, goodness. Thanks to his Superman stint. Clark Kent and Reed Richards are both characters defined in many ways by their fundamental decency. And Clark Kent is not. I mean, he was supposed to be like kind of like a nerdy guy. So if he can play Clark Kent, he can play.
But the Clark Kent that we had in the DCU was nothing like the Clark from the comics. Even the Superman, he was so like depressed. He was so like just I don't know. He was just very sad. So
But then wait a minute. We just missed something. We just missed a big thing. Okay. Christopher Reeves was Superman. He was Superman. Yeah. He died, and they still recasted a new Superman.
Exactly.
That's why I think it's just bullcrap. Because now he was
it's complete bullcrap.
When you think Superman, you think Christopher Reeves.
Yeah.
Let's keep that a buck. I don't care what anybody says.
Not.
And he did an excellent job. But just because of actor doesn't mean we can't recast, man.
Exactly, because we had Brandon Routh, then we had Cavill, and then we had what's his name, Tyler. He's playing him right now on TV, doing great.
That's a wild one. Look at that. That's a wild one you got there.
Trying to make him jump. He jumps.
Jump.
Does he jump far? Or
yeah, does he jump pretty far?
Yeah, he can jump pretty far.
Oh, that's so cool.
I'll try to make him jump. Hey, tap his leg.
Oh! Nice.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
He's gotten huge. When we first got him, he was like that big.
Now, can you put him in his Zartan in the same cage?
No. Well, I don't know. Maybe for a little while, but Zartan might.
Zartan's me. Zartan's just me.
Oh, you are Zartan.
Zartan's just me. Yeah, Zartan's just me.
Is a mean bastard. Wow. Yeah, he's huge. Yeah, Zartan is fucking mean, bro. My chameleon is vicious, dude. Vicious. Like he latch on that finger and shake it. Like, God damn, bro, you're a fucking chameleon. You're not a pit bull, bro. He doesn't know. He thinks he's a pit bull. But yeah. So, but there's like parallels between Superman and Reed Richards. They're both like sort of the
that's true
father figure of their publishing. Superman, DC. He would also be a great pick for the new Marvel version of Reed Richards because we know that he can rock some serious facial hair, and that has been an increasingly common look for Mr. Fantastic in recent years. So they both got the beard. I'll throw a little gray, little salt in the pepper, and then of course he would be appropriate as Reed Richards because he radiates intelligence as an actor. Think of Geralt of Riveria's shimmering shrewdness or his version of Sherlock Holmes. And the single most important aspect of Mr. Fantastic is his brain, his intellect, and the whole stretching thing. But yeah, I mean, it would also be quite the coup, man, for Disney to bring Henry Cavill over to the Marvel Cinematic Universe from DC. It's unclear whether, he'll continue playing Superman over at Warner Brothers or for how long.
Nah, he should just give him the middle finger, hop right over to the MCU. Do whatever you want. They have their chance.
Because Reed Richards, you gotta remember, Reed Richards is like, I mean,
Nolan Rand is right. He is a huge World of Warcraft nerd. He loves PC gaming, actually. He's like a huge nerd. Like, huge. So, shoot.
What about what's his name? Freddie Prinze.
Freddie Prinze Jr.?
Yeah, what about him? He could be a good Reed Richards.
I feel like he could do it. I feel like he could do it.
Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah, you remember him? He's married to what's his name? What's her name? Sarah Michelle.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah. I know exactly who he is. I'm just trying to think like when we've seen him lately. Like, what's the last thing he did?
I don't know.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah. But yeah,
what about Dev Patel? That would be a good Reed Richards.
Dave? Wait, hold on. I gotta remember what he looks like.
Dev Patel?
Yeah.
Dev Patel. I don't know.
Patel.
I don't think I see it.
No.
He
could do it. He could be it.
Maybe, yeah.
All right. Well, look, I'll go more traditional because it would be because you know what I mean. He's dark. He's like Indiana. How about Tom Bateman?
Okay, gotta remember what he looks like.
Tom Bateman. Yeah. He's got the look.
Why did you think of Tom Bateman?
He's got the look. Because he's got the look. Like, to me, he got the look, right? I think he could do it. I think he could be.
He's a little. I don't know. I don't know. When I think of Reed Richards,
I don't know. I feel like the head shape. Yeah, they just missed out on Ian Grufford, who played him in the earlier films. That was
what about John Cho? John Cho was the man in every movie he played in and TV show. John Cho.
No,
he could be Reed Richards.
No, he was he did Cowboy Bebop, right?
Oh yeah, yep. John Cho. Yeah, he did Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah,
it's gonna be Reed Richards. What?
Are you serious?
All right, well, I got one for Sada.
No, he could
do Reed Richards.
He could be an Asian Reed Richards.
Could do it.
Yeah,
I got one for Sada.
Okay. I'll kill that role actually.
Alfred, what's his name? Alfred Enoch. What about him, Sada?
Who? Wait, say that again.
Alfred Enoch. Enoch, how you say his last name? Yeah, Enoch. Alfred Enoch.
Enoch.
Yeah,
Enoch. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, not as Reed Richards. No.
Why not?
Maybe as Johnny Storm.
They made Johnny Storm black. They made Johnny Storm black in the last movie. I mean,
yeah, he could be Johnny Storm. Yeah, he could be Johnny Storm.
He can't. Why can't he be Reed Richards?
I just think he looks a little too young. He's got a baby face.
What does he look like? I cannot find this man.
Alfred Enoch, Alfred, and then Enoch is Enoch.
Oh, okay, got it. Oh yeah, no, way too young. No,
yeah, he's too young of a face.
Yeah,
he's got to do a young Reed Richards. You can start Reed Richards off as a young Reed Richards.
Yeah, how Lito's Way has a good question. How old do we want these people to be? Because I don't know.
Man, that's what I'm saying. I think. All right, my last one.
Should they be young or older, like in their prime?
Last one, and this is somebody. This is somebody that's in the middle. I got somebody that's in the middle. Chris Pine. Now, I like the Chris Pine. I like Chris Pang, and I think he'd be a good Reed Richards.
How you spell that last name? Pang?
P-A-N-G. Chris Pang.
Oh, a Chinese guy. Yeah. He's Australian actually. But...
Oh, I remember him. Maybe.
From Crazy Rich Asians. Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah, I remember him. Maybe. Yeah. They just need to go out, find an unknown, do it.
So Stu's looking for
he was in a couple good movies. He was in Blade of the 47 Ronin. And he was in Charlie's Angels. That's what I've seen. But
oh wow, looks like Chris Pang wanted to play on Shang-Chi at one point.
Oh yeah, that would have made.
He could have been Shang-Chi. That would have made sense.
Yeah.
But he could do Reed Richards.
How old do we want?
Yeah, like how old do we want him to be?
Do you want Reed and Stu to be together already, or do you want to watch the relationship progress? I want to see them as like kind of like seasoned explorers.
Yeah, I kind of want them in their prime, like just already established as the Fantastic Four. Like,
and I know that's hard because they haven't been in the MCU yet, so it will be hard to do that. But as a comic fan, as you know, it's hard because like I don't need to see the origin or any of that, but like would new audiences need to see some kind of origin? I don't really think so though, because there's been like so many Fantastic Four movies. I think people kind of know who they are, and like,
and there's been a huge gap. The last one was in 2014. I mean, that's over 6 years, and it wasn't well received. I don't know if a lot of people really watched it. There was a whole lot of drama behind that latest one, so I don't know.
Yeah, it was.
We can definitely stand to have a new one.
It was people. Sure. Yeah, it was people that was ready to fire a rocket at Fox Studios for that one.
Yeah,
like they really was upset about that. Yeah,
Ryan Gosling.
But I will say one thing: the casting.
He surprised me a lot, though.
The casting.
It was just the story.
Yeah, the casting's always great. It's just the story.
Right, the story.
Because even the first film, casting was great.
And that Reed Richards was kind of young. Nobody said anything. So why are my Reed Richards picks got to be too young?
I just that in the comics lately, he's got like a salt and pepper beard. It's just, I don't know. I like the bearded older Reed Richards. That's just me.
I like Ian Gruffle, who he played him in the 2005 movie. He was perfect. They should do a little cameo with him. That would be great.
Yeah, he was.
I don't think it's gonna happen, though, man. He was good. He was good.
He was
like,
good.
I think you know who Bradley Cooper might be a dope ass Reed Richards too.
I think so. Tom Hanks could be a good Reed Richards.
Yeah, if we're looking for older, maybe.
If you're looking for older, yeah.
I don't know. That's tough.
Since you guys
Ryan Gosling though, Ryan Gosling.
I think too short, but I think he could be.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say he surprised me because like he was like this, you know, the romantic chick flick guy, you know, the Notebook and all of that. But then like in Blade Runner, he was dope, and something else he did that he was dope. He played this. It's weird, like kind of it's kind of like a low budget or like an indie film. Nah, fuck it, I can't think of it. But yeah, it was dope. Brad Pitt. Brad, I can see him. Brad Pitt.
Or was he talking about Cooper?
Oh, Bradley Cooper.
Brad Pitt is too big. Bradley Cooper, yeah, Brad Pitt's too big.
But I mean, obviously
Eddie Murphy could be
in Rocket, but
I think Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy?
Yeah,
Eddie Murphy.
Oh, no, I don't think I could see that.
Yeah. That'd be interesting.
Let's see. I mean, he has done some more, he has done like his serious roles and whatever, but I don't know. I feel like I can't see it. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, bro. Stu, you wouldn't want that, bro. You wouldn't want that.
Could you imagine you hear that casting voice? Oh, snap. I don't know. I don't know if I can see it.
No.
Or they could just cast the unknown. Just
I feel like at this point, find an
unknown. Where I land.
All 4 of them.
That's where I land. And yeah, Norman Rad is with me on that. You know what I mean? Nah, but yeah, known actors carry too much. Yeah, either a new rising star or an unknown, for sure. Yeah. And that's my pick for Wolverine or any like big character.
So let's say, okay, Mr. Well, that's a good question. Let's ask you this question, Mr. Wolverine. What if they got Robert Pattinson to play one?
Oh boy, no.
You hate me, don't you?
Nah, I'm just saying he did a good job as Batman. Everybody liked it. He might be able to knock it out as Wolverine. He played a pretty good vampire.
The only reason I haven't immediately shot that down is because Batman was so good.
No, absolutely not.
No, as Wolverine, no.
He could do it. I think he could do it.
Nah,
I think he knocked it out the park, Reno.
Nah.
All right, what about Eddie Murphy?
No.
As Wolverine?
Let me show you.
Yeah.
Would you want that?
You don't want that.
Exactly. You know you wouldn't want that. You know you wouldn't.
But I think Robert Pattinson could play Wolverine. I think he did a good Wolverine.
I don't know.
Man.
I don't see it.
Do it. I see it. You could dress Robert Pattinson up to look like Wolverine.
I don't know. Even if he bulked up for the role, I just don't see it. I don't know. He has the acting chops, but I can't see it.
We had, Hugh Jackman. Now it's time for Wolverine.
It's time for Robert Pattinson. the Wolverine.
He just hops back and forth between DC and Marvel.
You could put Robert Pattinson's face in there if you want to, but he's got a lot of, facial hair, and so you could rough Pattinson up enough, but it's not. No.
Hollywood can give you as much little facial hair as you need.
That's actually a good Pattinson as Dakin. That I could see, and that would be cool. And you know what? They haven't talked about Dakin yet. That's a good point. Lito's way.
I don't think they are.
No, they probably won't go there.
See, this is the problem. Actors want their faces to be seen. They don't want to truly stay to the character. This is part of the problem. Right. I think he would have made an okay Cyclops. I feel like he
would have made a much better Cyclops than he would make a Wolverine.
Yeah.
But this reason is why I don't want him to play Wolverine. He's not going to want to wear the damn mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, Native American for Dakin, sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because I would definitely want American to play Dakin. Yeah, I would definitely.
It is. It really is.
There's a lot of possibilities out there.
Yeah, Edgerton is a perfect example of why I don't want a known actor or a big actor to play it, because they don't want to cover their face. And new upcoming actors don't want to cover their face either, because they're trying to get their name out there. But a unknown actor would do it because they're getting the opportunity to play Wolverine or whatever, so they're going to take the role and they're going to wear the fucking mask, because you're not going to have the mask on always. And so we'll know what you look like. Look at The Mandalorian. How fucking successful was The Mandalorian? And we barely ever saw his face. Wore his mask the whole fucking show.
Successful.
Very successful. Everyone knows who plays him. Like, it's not a secret. Like, the actor isn't forgotten. So I think people need to, actors need to look at that and just stop being scared of the mask. You guys are playing superheroes, okay? You're playing superheroes, okay? Superheroes wear masks.
Unfortunately, we're at a point. Secret identities means squat diddly in the MCU, so that's another problem.
They don't mean anything. Well, Stan Lee said it best when they did the first Spider-Man film.
Spider-Man.
Tobey Maguire kept. Yeah, he says Tobey Maguire kept saying, "Oh, I'm never gonna see my face." And he said he told him, like, look, people. He wanted to be on the screen most of the time. And Stanley told him, he said, "Look, the movie's called Spider-Man, not Peter Parker.
Yeah,
nobody's gonna want to watch you
right
the whole time. They want to see you in the suit jumping around being Spider-Man. That's what they want to see."
And it's like, actors need to think about. No, it's not what you want, but what are the people gonna want? What are the audience gonna want? Let's go there. Let's Hollywood start.
And like, even forget the audience, like the character, like just be true to the character. It's very simple.
Well, yeah.
That's why Will Smith didn't work as Deadshot, because he wanted his face to be shown half the time. He wore the mask like once. Like, all right, whatever, my guy.
It's like, bro, you think we're gonna forget you're there or something? Like, I don't know why they're afraid to show their face, not show their face. Like, what are you scared of? People are gonna forget you did the role or what? Like,
that's true.
There's really no logic behind it. Oh, Zartan, I know you're hungry.
Ego. That's what it is for some of them. It's ego for sure.
It is ego.
Yeah.
I mean, and then they want to work with who they want to work with. They want to work how they want to work. And a lot of times I think that kills the art form, because actors from back in the day, from silent films to black and white, they didn't do all that. They got in, they played the roles, they gave you the best iteration of the character, and they threw their heart and soul into it.
Yeah.
Nowadays, everybody's fidgety. They want this, they want that, they don't want this. I don't want to do this. When they had the Batman TV show back in the day in black and white, I mean, they wore that Batman mask. They wore that. The actor wore that.
Exactly.
He didn't take it off. He wasn't pulling it off every 5 minutes. Adam West never pulled his mask off and said, "Oh, I'm Batman."
Yeah.
Never.
And I definitely wanted to see way more of Moon Knight and a lot less of Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, and even when he was in costume, he would take off the mask. Like in what was it, episode 3, when he suited up and the things were stabbing him and he took off the mask for some reason. Like, why did you do that? That's so unnecessary. Like, it just takes you out of the immersion. Like the same thing happened with Mystique. Jennifer Lawrence, she probably got a little egotistical, maybe borderline narcissistic, and she didn't want to do the paint anymore, and it took you out of the immersion. Like,
it's like,
why are we doing this? Like, I'm staring at Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah, you're not Mystique. You're not Mystique. You're just Jennifer Lawrence.
Jennifer Lawrence, right?
Yeah.
And people want to see Mystique.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole purpose behind the whole thing.
Yeah. That is it, man. So we got Adam Warlock coming. Here's some old Adam Warlock. Adam Warlock knocking out Thanos. Wow. Can't wait. All right. Cosmos. We got Howard Stern. We got Cavill. I think we covered it all. No, we didn't. Sorry. Let's watch this Andor trailer because I haven't even seen it yet. So let's watch the Andor trailer. We got to chop this up. Here we go. Let's run it. Here we go.
The thing. Yeah, roll the thing.
Exactly.
All right. So for some reason we're not getting any audio.
Oh my God.
I don't like that.
Looks pretty.
It does look cool.
Yeah.
Oh, look, that's the
now, what planet is that? What planet was that? Was that Scarif or no?
That's that's the one with I think Rogue One. The Rogue One planet, I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's Scarif?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is this before? Now, is this after Rogue One or before Rogue One?
I believe this is a prequel to Rogue One. This is Andor because remember when we meet him in Rogue One, he's like this, legendary spy.
Seasoned.
Well, this is,
right.
Yeah. Yeah, this is his seasoning. Oh, this shit looks rough, bro. This shit looks awesome. Oh, that dude right there. Yo.
Now, who are these? Who's this guy right here?
Phenomenal.
Now, we know who that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, now we don't see, like, who are some of these people? All right. Now, where is
Andor.
what's the guy? What was the guy that flew around in the black ship with the Death Troopers?
Moff Gideon.
No, not Moff Gideon. Not Moff Gideon. Because now are they now? Listen, Grand Moff Tarkin should still be alive, right? And then who was the guy that was the guy that in the beginning of the movie where he was chasing the little girl and he sent the Death Troopers after her and they captured her? The scientist, the guy that captured the scientist.
Oh,
and the little girl got away. What was the name of the guy? Remember he went Vader choked him in the
I do. I just can't think of the name.
Yeah, this is dope. Yeah, Andor.
3 episodes.
Yeah, that looks great. That looks great.
3-episode premiere. That's it. We only getting 3 episodes.
No, the premiere.
That's just the premiere,
episodes.
And then it'll be weekly after that.
Yeah.
They do that for some shows.
Yeah. Well, like Obi-Wan, they gave us 2 episodes on day 1. No, not just 3 episodes total. No. Just that first premiere, the first show.
The first premiere is 3 episodes.
Yes.
How many episodes did they now have? They said how many episodes in total?
Oh boy!
You know how Disney likes to hate on Star Wars. We're only giving you
probably 6.
Could you imagine 6 episodes? Oh my god!
You're lucky to get 6 episodes.
Based on that trailer that we just saw, I would say that's at least 10 episodes to get through all that stuff. That was a lot of content and a lot of different stuff going on there that I recognized. And am I alone that this looked way better than Obi-Wan budget-wise?
Well, remember, Reno, you got to
remember film quality.
You got to remember something. Everything after Obi-Wan is going to be, or supposedly from the horse's mouth, from the top of the ladder, is going to be better. The budget's going to be bigger. The episodes are going to be longer because Obi-Wan was such a flop.
No, I get that. But
Kennedy is no longer in charge.
Yeah, but this is before all that. Like this was shot before all that. You know what I mean? Like they already made this.
No,
show
I know that, but I'm just saying they could have enhanced a little bit
before they got the feedback.
It did look high quality.
They could have did some. They could have did a couple reshoots and some other things. You know, they could have made it work.
Yo, I was hyped though when I seen this cat. I don't know who he is, but he's a dope bounty hunter. But I don't know much about him. But I love his design.
That's another thing they should do. They should do bounty hunt. Like they got a Star Wars Bounty Hunters comic. They could do a Bounty Hunters TV show on Disney Plus. We get a different bounty.
Yeah, I was about to say, didn't they do that?
Nah. I'm saying no. It could be after the comic Bounty Hunters, and we get a different bounty hunter every week.
Yeah. Well, that's Mandalorian should have done something like that. Doing different bounty hunters, and they did. I mean, there's different bounty hunters and shit popping in, but I don't see them doing another bounty hunter show when they've already got Mandalorian. But doing some bounty hunters.
Mando. That's Mando. We need to see some of these other bounty hunters in action.
I would like
maybe giving us a different one every week.
Yeah,
different story, different bounty hunter.
Yeah,
that'd be dope. But Hollywood's not that smart, so.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm really surprised. This comic is like almost photography. Like the characters are drawn so realistically.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I guess this is gonna have something to do with this guy anyway. He's definitely in that trailer. But I've been excited. I've been excited for Andor just because I love Rogue One. But I think it's gonna be dope. It did look, but yes, and they're making a Boba Fett season 2. I don't know. Listen, if they are making
it, redeeming themselves,
if they want to redeem
this, gonna be the dope.
I'm happy.
This is gonna be the dope Boba Fett season.
Yeah, like let's really do it right.
Ask for it. Yeah, but this is not gonna be the Kathleen Kennedy Teletubbies on bikes.
Teletubbies, man, on Vespa.
This is going to be the hardcore spaghetti western gritty Boba Fett that we were used to.
That's what we want, but I have zero faith in Lucasfilm right now. But we'll see. I don't.
Like
I have
even
no
if,
faith.
like, listen, like, check it out, Reno. Even if you go with the concept of Boba Fett was like, look, I'm tired of working for everybody. I want to be the boss. We cool with that, but let
That's
him be
fine.
Boba Fett. Let
But
it do
still
it
be
Boba
Boba
Fett's
Fett.
way, right? Let
Yeah.
him be Boba Fett and do it his
Right.
like, not this. I want to be. I'm
This
not
old
killing anybody. I
Grandpa
gotta show
Boba.
him mercy. Yeah, now Boba Fett would have went in there, shot up the whole place, and then said, "Who's next?" Because I still got power on this blaster. So now, in music news, and Sada should be responsible for some of this. They said the Beehive has struck again. They shut down.
Oh,
They
I'm
shut
not
down.
responsible for that.
Oh, I thought you was part of the Beehive. I thought
Thought you was
I'm not
Beehive.
part of
I thought you was down with the Beehive. I thought
not
you was
part
down
of
with
the
the Beehive. Beyonce, Beyonce has a very, very, very loyal and cult following
Yeah.
of fans.
Yeah, the Beehive.
Her album got leaked. And they went off. They went off so bad that Beyonce had to get on seriously. She had to go and have the album pulled from wherever they were selling it, or whoever started selling it early, or whoever. They said it was somebody in Europe, or somebody leaked it. Somehow it got leaked, and they shut it down. Yeah, they shut it down. Like they was like, you will not release this album
The
before this
Beehive
time.
don't play.
Wow.
You gotta watch out for them. Seriously.
Yeah, they I've heard stories.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I want to try to get this Andor trailer with audio because I really want to see it, and I want to see it with you guys.
Let's
yeah, trying to download a new version. It did look high quality. You know what?
Yeah.
But I said the same thing about Obi-Wan, dude. I watched that Obi-Wan trailer. I was like, dude, this is gonna be epic. I was like, this is gonna be the best show ever. This Obi-Wan show is gonna be like a movie. It's gonna be so good based on the trailer. Like the trailers, they really made the trailer look fucking really good. But this one, I can definitely see there's a lot more production quality gone into this one. But I just want to hear it with sound. But yeah, I'm downloading it now, uploading it now, so we can check it out. R2D2, homie. Hello there.
Hello there.
Yeah, well, Reno, Beyonce just has a cult following of fans, and they somebody in France bought the album early, a CD version. They put it up on their social media. You know how people want to be the first one. Hey, I'll have Beyonce's new album.
Oh no!
Of course, we're all here, and I've got, and it's out. And today's only Wednesday, and it should be out Friday, and all have it. And the Beehive shut it down. They said, no, you don't. You will not play that album. You will not show that album anymore. You won't even show the song titles.
Yeah,
Beyonce had to call the company in France. Yeah, they
will find where you live and shut it down.
Yeah, they found a company in France that was selling it early, whoever it was, and they made them.
All they had to do is find the British accent.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Let's try it.
That was a French. I thought that was my French accent.
No, that was very British. Yeah,
I thought it was French, man. I was trying to be a French.
You were a bloke, a bloody bloke. All right, let's see. All right, I'm gonna run it again. Hopefully, we get some audio. Here we go.
All right.
To steal from the Empire? To just walk in like you belong? They're so proud of themselves. So fat and satisfied. They can't imagine that someone like me who would ever get inside their house.
Cassian Andor. The Empire is choking us so slowly. We're starting not to notice. What I'm asking is this. Wouldn't you rather give it all to something real? I need all the heroes I can get.
For the greater good.
Call it what you will.
Let's call it war.
There's fermenting out there, son. Pockets of fermenting.
You're in my net. Are you a fish? Or are you a thief? You're slipping.
I'm not slipping. I've just been hiding for too long.
As long as everyone thinks I'm an irritation, there's a good chance they'll miss what I'm really doing.
What are you really doing?
This is what revolution looks like. I'm tired of losing.
Me too, Slade. Me too. That is dope. Now, I can say that it looks maybe production budget wise, it's similar to Obi-Wan because some of that the same set stuff. But what's gonna set it apart that I can tell already is the acting. You've got some really great actors in this show. So I think that's what's going to set it apart from Boba Fett and Obi-Wan.
So. I'm in. I'm
in.
into Norn. I'm into.
In it to win it.
In it to win it. Mm-hmm. All right, so that is it. That is it, guys. So yeah, check us out, man. We'll be back here Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as always, every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, except for last Saturday and Wednesday. Sorry about that. We had to cancel, but we're good this week. So we'll see you guys Wednesday and Saturday.
Peace. And Saturday.
Yes, sir. All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace.